Okay, we are in book 4 of the Bible story by Arthur S Maxwell, and the book that I have has David and Goliath on the front. We are in part 3, story 3, Solomon's prayer for wisdom. Okay? The very next day, after David had made his last speech to his people, a great feast was held in Jerusalem, and Solomon was made king for the second time. Most of the leaders of Israel were not present when David had sent Solomon through the city on his royal mule. At the time, Adonijah tried to seize the throne. So now they were all in the city to bid farewell to their old king. It was thought best to have another coronation. So they made Solomon the son of David king the second time, and anointed him unto the Lord to be the chief governor. Now this is the verses that are all condensed. Then Solomon sat on the throne of the Lord as king instead of David his father, and prospered, and all Israel obeyed him. And all the princes and the mighty men and all the sons likewise of King David submitted themselves unto Solomon the king. And the Lord magnified Solomon exceedingly in the sight of all Israel, and bestowed him such royal majesty as had not been on any king before him in Israel. There was a reason why God conferred high honor and great blessing upon this young man. He was so eager to do what was right. Soon after his coronation, Solomon called all the leaders of Israel to meet him at Gibeon, where the old wilderness tabernacle was still standing. The ark was not there anymore, for David had moved it for safekeeping to Jerusalem. But the basin altar made by Brazel was still in its old place outside the faded tent. And Solomon offered 1,000 burnt offerings upon it as a mark of his devotion to God. The fact that he, the new young king, was starting his reign in this way meant that must have been a great impression on everybody who was there. Quickly the story spread all over the country, bringing hope of a great revival. One night when Solomon was in Gibeon, the Lord appeared to him in a dream and asked, "What shall I give thee?" Solomon answered, "Thou hast showed unto thy servant David my father great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth, and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart for thee. And thou hast kept from him this great kindness, thou hast kept from him this great kindness." Okay, King James really kind of confuses. "That thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, O Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. In other words, I don't know which way to turn. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people, that cannot be numbered nor counted for the multitude. In other words, he ain't supposed to count either. And then it has a little illustration of him burning the incense. Burning the offerings. And there's the people talking. And see, he's up in the corner burning. And they're talking about him. Okay, we'll go to the next page. Okay. And we're continuing the story. It says, give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? And God must have been pleased with Solomon's prayer. What a noble petition it was. Many a young man would have asked for a nice new chariot or a gold-plated suit of armor, or maybe some fine Arabian horses. But not this youth. Instead, he merely asked for wisdom to do his job as it should be done. And God said to him, because thou hast this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor hast asked for life of thine enemies, but hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart. And of course, it's condensing again. And I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked for, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like unto thee all thy days. And if thou wilt walk in my ways, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as thy father David did walk, then I will lengthen thy days. And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. Yeah, he was sound asleep, and he dreamed that. But let me get back to the story. But what a beautiful dream, and what a lesson it had been every boy and every girl today. If God should say to you, what shall I give thee? What would you say to him? Would you ask for the latest model car, or for a beautiful expensive home, or for lots of money, or that you might be at the top of your class, or that you might win first prize at your school games? Or would you say, like Solomon, just make me wise, dear Lord, so that I may always choose the right and so pleasing thee in all things? If you want to pray a prayer like this, ask only for wisdom to do God's will. It will please him very much indeed. And he will answer you as surely as he did King Solomon, giving you not only wisdom, but everything else you need. And then that's the end of this page. And the painting is by Harry Anderson, and it has the little insert in it. And it's a full pager, so it has the insert of the text in it. frame it. Here it goes. Nice, beautiful 1950s art. And the caption says, "As newly anointed ruler of the kingdom, Solomon felt his responsibility so much that he asked not for fame or wealth or power, but only for wisdom to rule his people." And apparently that was the end of part 3, story 3. Yeah, part 3, story 3. So we're going to stop, and then we're going to go to the next one, and we'll see what happens. The next story is one that most people know about anyway. So, and this is what they remember about Solomon. But let me pause for a second, and then I'll read it.